Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It is Friday, and more importantly, it's reporting day for the rookies. The Green Bay Packers have their rookies in town and all signed. That's right. Anthony Belton, the Packers announced a little bit ago, about a half hour ago, that they have signed their second-round pick. Our long national nightmare is over. Belton is in the fold and presumably inside Lambeau Field as we speak. But yes, the 54th overall pick has signed his contract. It's slated to be a little over $8 million for 4 years. No word yet on the guarantees, which is kind of the interesting part here. I've seen a bunch of second-round picks that have been signed throughout today or announced throughout today, reported on, etc., that do have fully guaranteed deals, but no word yet on Belton. I suspect probably not fully guaranteed, but I know he should get some kind of bonus around a little hovering over $2 million. So going to be interesting to see how that breaks down once there are some numbers to look at. But Belton is in the fold, in Lambeau, ready to rock, and the Packers have their entire rookie class signed. And look, it's not just the rookies reporting today. I know you probably saw some of the reports about Jordan Love arriving today after his youth football camp yesterday. Matt LaFleur did indicate that quarterbacks would be reporting along with the rookies today on Friday, and a number of injured guys would also be in the building starting today. No word on who that might be. I'm sure that will start to come out probably Monday when the other vets start to arrive and things of that nature. But things are rumbling to life at 1265 Lombardi. Very exciting stuff. First practice is next Wednesday, and then I will arrive on the 26th. I cannot wait. Really excited to get to Green Bay, watch training camp, get these practices going. And speaking of practices, the Packers have made a couple of adjustments to the practice schedule at training camp here. You see I'm throwing it up on the screen. There is now no practice on the 30th. They have added a practice on the 1st and the 29th. The first had been open, but that will now be a morning practice at 10:30 a.m. So adjust yourselves accordingly. If you are out and about and planning on coming to camp, you'll see there the 26th, that is that kind of off day. And then you see on the 27th, they have those 3 days in a row there. That's when they'll start to ramp up into fully padded work. So if you want to see some hitting, come starting around that stretch. And then definitely once you hit the 30th there, everything that's public should be in pads. More often than not, Matt tends to make the walkthrough stuff that isn't like hitting and fully padded work. They're usually kind of in shells. Usually that is mostly done privately without the public, just because it would be somewhat boring to sit there as a public member and watch guys just walk around for an hour. But make sure you're making those notes if you are planning on coming to training camp. Of course, before we get going, got to give a shout out to our good friends over at Ticket King. Based in Wisconsin since 1992, Ticket King is located across the street from Lambeau Field on Oneida. They're happy to help you find just the right tickets for Packers games, from larger groups to single tickets, both home and away. They partner with local Green Bay businesses for tailgating and bus transportation to the game, so you don't have to worry about driving or parking. They're even open on game day for last-minute tickets or possible upgrades. And if you're not in Green Bay, no problem. Just use the Ticket King link in the Cheesehead TV homepage, or indeed in the description of this video. Don't use Ticketmaster, StubHub, SeatGeek. None of these national companies. Use a company based in Wisconsin since the early 90s. Ticket King for all your Packers ticket needs. Do it, folks. Look at all these fine folks mixing it up. Hello to each and every one of you, starting with Ryan here. What's going on, man? Thanks for the super chat. Random Packer, Justin Harrell. Man, that's a summer Friday name if I've ever heard one. Good times. Menace, thank you for the super chat, man. Fun fact, Amon Green had more receiving yards from 2002 to 2005 than Javon Walker did. Not really sure it's relevant. Just thought it was wild. Go Pack, go. That sounds about right. You know, Mike Sherman using him in the passing game. Come on now. Sounds like a good time. Justice Avenger, how are you, man? Thanks for checking out the stream. Aaron, do you believe Matthew Golden will be starring week one? Starring? Maybe you mean starting? Either way, I think we'll see him week one, definitely. Now, whether it's a huge welcome to the NFL type game or he has a few snaps and maybe hopefully has a few receptions and starts easing into things, remains to be seen. We'll see what his usage is like throughout training camp, how much he's running with the ones, how much kind of, I guess, full fire hose treatment of the playbook he gets. But do I expect him to star, given that that's what you have written here? I think he has the opportunity to. I don't know exactly what his usage will be, but he certainly has the upside and the athletic ability to maybe not surprise some people, because you would expect a first round pick at receiver to at least contribute and make some plays, right? But yeah, there's definitely an opportunity that he could kind of announce his presence with authority in week 1. God knows it would be a welcome occurrence. Simitovich, how are you, man? Thanks for the super chat. Happy birthday, Nags. Thoughts on Lloyd Howell fiasco? Thank you for the sentiment. I had a lovely birthday yesterday. Had a great dinner with my girls and friends and family. So really good time yesterday. Appreciate the shout out. The Lloyd Howell fiasco is pretty much that, a fiasco. The head of the NFLPA announcing his resignation, and the executive committee now meeting about most likely who's going to take over in the interim, but then trying to come up with a new and better process and trying to revert back to a process where it's, hopefully a lot more open and a lot more inclusive when it comes to the entire membership of the NFLPA. But yes, it seems like every day more and more stuff is coming out, and none of it is good, including kind of the ridiculous stuff that came out today. But it felt yesterday like it was inevitable that his time was up. And today he's gone. So we will see what the NFLPA does going forward here in the next week or two, so to speak. Inglewood, how are you, man? Thanks for the super chat. Aaron, when are you heading to Green Bay for camp? I'm heading to Green Bay for camp on the 26th. So a week from Saturday. I used to get there, every year right when it started, and wanted to see the shareholder meeting and be there for the kickoff of camp. But really, with the new CBA, the way it is, that they are mandated, they have to be, they have that ramp up period where they're in shorts and t-shirts, where essentially the beginning of camp is an extension of OTAs and mini camp. Prior to, they don't even go right into full pads. They go into half pads and then full pads. Like, they have this very extensive ramp up period. I don't like to get there right away anymore. Pretty much everything you see there, those first few days, is very much akin and an extension of the off-season work that we've all been following along. And certainly I'm interested in it. But, you really start to learn about the team when the pads come on and they start some hitting, and jobs are very much starting to get to be on the line, right? When, some padded work starts and the preseason rolls in, and that's when I want to be there. So, like I said, I'll be there the 26th, and I'll be there for 2 weeks. I'll be there through, obviously, family night, and then I'll leave right before the first preseason game. I'm very excited. Let's see. We got Menace again. What's up, buddy? I know Jacobs and Lloyd are going to be 1 and 2, presumably Lloyd too, but I really, really am not looking forward to possibly losing Brooks or Wilson. Embarrassment of riches at running back. I hear you. I think they acquitted themselves quite well last season, no doubt about it. And I talked about this a little bit a couple days ago here on Daily. It's certainly going to be a battle, right? And Wilson really played well when he was called upon last season, and I think probably did a lot more than they were expecting him to, given that, basically Lloyd couldn't stay on the field. But look, man, you're getting better or you're getting worse. And I think with Lloyd's addition, hopefully that elevates that room and adds some real upside to the running back position. And if that, and probably does mean one of those guys is gone, whether it is Wilson or Brooks, then that's improvement in your room. And overall, that's a good thing. I very much agree that both of those guys, have aspects to their games that are beneficial to the offense, but as an overall talent level, having to move on from one of them is a good thing, because you are raising the talent level in the running back room. I'm all in on that. Rich Harris, yes. Rich says, Nags, I joined late. Did Belton sign yet? Yes, he did. The Packers announced it about a half hour ago. So he is in the fold, and he is presumably at 1265 Lombardi, where he has signed his deal and is participating in the first day of rookies reporting for camp. Let me see. Which practices are padded? It's a good question, man. Actually, here, I'll throw up this calendar again. So if you look there, the 27th will be the first day where they'll probably go half pads. And then the 28th and the 29th will be the first fully padded practice. And then you see that day off that they have now carved out. That is per the CBA. They have to have a day off after their first fully padded practice, which will most likely be the 28th. And then after that, any of the practices that you see at that 10:30 a.m. slot, most of those will be fully padded practices once the 30th is done. So if you're planning on coming to Green Bay and you want to see some hitting, you want to see some padded practices, those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 practices essentially are the ones you want to go. Those 10:30 a.m.s after the 30th. Obviously, family night is padded, though there isn't a ton of hitting per se. Those are the practices you're going to want to go to if you want to see some padded work. And I hear people already, and I'm certainly with you. It is, somewhat disappointing how few practices there are overall, but certainly the padded work has really gone down in recent years. And we talked about this a couple of days ago. They're working smarter, not harder, and everything they need to get done, they do get done. But there's no need for more of it and potentially more injuries and need for more recovery, etc. It certainly isn't like it used to be, right? Like we used to get 20 padded practices, and now we're down to 8 essentially. And then what's crazy is that I don't think most people realize that they're only allowed, I think it's now 13 padded practices during the season, the entire season. Like Matt will dole out these one padded practice a week for, the majority of the first kind of 3/4 of the year. And then down the stretch, guys are so beaten up, they don't do any padded practices. So all of that to say, if you want to see some hitting, get there for one of those 8 practices. What else we got here? E4, what's up? How are you, man? Can't help but wonder how fans of other teams deal with knowing that they'd rather be a Packers fan. I don't know if they wrestle with it too much. I've certainly heard from opposing fans enough in my life to know that they're not exactly envious of the Packers. Maybe they don't admit it, although they probably are deep down. But yeah, it's a good question, man. I don't know what that kind of inner monologue must sound like. Inglewood, how are you, man? Thanks for the super chat. What are your expectations for the defense? Better than last year? Yes, I believe they will improve and take a significant step forward from a year that I thought saw them playing some pretty damn good ball down the stretch, especially the last 4 games or so. But I do think another year in the system, kind of an expansion, a bit of the playbook and knowledge from not just the veterans, but a infusion, so to speak, of a little bit of athleticism up front from the rookie class. It's going to be interesting. And then obviously there's a new defensive line coach, and you would think a bit of a new approach for the defensive line. You mix all that in, especially with the, I would say, expected ascension of Edgerrin Cooper, along with most likely a solidified safety group led by Xavier McKinney. I know there's a lot of hand-wringing about the cornerback group. I think they're a lot better than people expect them to be, and they're going to surprise some people. And yeah, I think Hafley and company are going to be noticeably better. And I think they're going to be a team that really gives quarterbacks and offensive coordinators fits as far as what they're presenting pre-snap and then what they're getting into post-snap. It's something I talked with Cody Alexander about here on the channel a couple weeks ago. Make sure you check that video out. We had a really good talk about it. What else we got here, folks? They're in denial. Yeah, that's probably true, Jim. Menace, thanks again, man. I would like to thank the Texans for not only fucking up the quarterback market by trading he who shall not be named to a team that gave him the Infinity Gauntlet contract and now the second round pick situation. I mean, they certainly delayed the second round thing, right? Along with the Browns, but it felt like today the dam kind of broke, right? And as I indicated at the top of the stream, a bunch of guys signed fully guaranteed deals, which, by the way, is a good thing. Like, I am very much pro player in this regard, and these guys should get fully guaranteed deals. So I'm happy for any movement forward in regards to getting guys fully guaranteed contracts, which felt like a step forward today. No doubt about it. What's up, man? How are you? Thanks, Nick. Two biggest concerns for me are the DB room and pass rush. Hobbs is greater than Stokes all day, but I'm a fan of Nixon. Need LVN to step up or find a complement for Gary. Yes, they definitely need that last part. There's zero doubt about that. And hopefully Lucas Van Ness does take a step forward. And it doesn't have to all be him, but you've got to get way more production out of him. There's zero doubt about that. And it should help to have him actually on the field for the majority of the snaps, at least on balance throughout the season, comparative to last year, where now we know he was dealing with a broken thumb or a finger. But man, he was just not on the field, especially in obvious passing situations. That was a little nuts. So yes, that definitely needs to occur. I hear you. Like I was just talking about with the defensive backs, I think they're better than people. They're going to be better than people expect them to be. The Hobbs thing is interesting because I do think he's hella talented. And I think there's no question that he is going to be a good addition, right? A plus addition to the cornerback room. The one question when it comes to Hobbs is his availability. You've jettisoned Jair Alexander because he never played, right? He's missed half the games the last 2 seasons. Well, Hobbs has not been on the exemplary attendee, so to speak. I mean, he has missed a ton of football games since he's come into the league. So hopefully that's behind him, and hopefully he can stay on the field because when he does, I think he will be a very, very nice addition. Joe, what's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. How much did lack of consistent pass rush from the front four last year limit Hafley's pass coverage schemes? Funnily enough, they didn't. If anything, it caused him to kind of get crazy with some of the stuff as far as trying to disguise and get into looks that maybe weren't expected to, cover two from these really kind of condensed, what look like pressure calls. All of a sudden guys are bailing. He's only rushing 4, but it's still a blitz because he's, bringing linebackers and maybe even a corner, etc. But behind it is a typical or a classic cover 2, coverage formation. He did a lot of disguise and a lot of work in that regard. So I don't know that it limited him. If anything, it probably kind of juiced his imagination a little bit out of necessity to try and trick quarterbacks and make them second guess themselves. Because, we heard Matt talk a little bit about this both at the end of the year and then throughout the offseason. They expected to be able to just rush 4 and play kind of dial of coverage on the back, but that certainly didn't materialize. And they really had to change it up as far as their approach to trying to get after the quarterback because they couldn't win with 4. So that's going to be the number one thing to be watching for throughout the summer, right? And into the start of the season. Can they start in any way, shape, or form to get a semblance of a pass rush when only rushing their front 4 defensive linemen, not having to get into simulated pressures, get into even like some dipping your toe into exotics. The less you have to do that, the better off you're going to be. Zero doubt about it. This is really lovely and unexpected from Facebook. Love to hear your voice. I think you need to make a nighttime audio tape, Nags at Night. Put me to sleep telling me Packer stories. Not an insult. Love the voice. Go Pack Go. Samuel, that is one of the nicest things anyone has ever commented here on Packers Daily. I really appreciate it. Funnily enough, there was a gentleman who sent me a video of he and his daughter listening to Packers Daily at night when she goes to bed. So perhaps some folks are doing that. Good times. This is an interesting question. Nags, who would you consider our best man coverage corner? Hard to say because they play so little man, mostly because they don't have a ton of great man coverage guys. But, if you talked about simple, straight up man coverage, it's probably Keyshawn Nixon. Now, I don't think Keyshawn's strength is man, and I certainly don't think you want him working at the line of scrimmage with press coverage on the regular. I don't think that's the strength of his game. I do think Carrington Valentine has really improved, and I like Carrington up on the line, pressing wide receivers, using that length. But then sometimes he can get in some trouble trying to get physical at the line of scrimmage. Now, the expectation is they're going to continue to get better, right? But they play so little, like straight up man coverage, like a lot of cover 2, cover 3. a little bit of cover one, which would necessitate man underneath. But yeah, they are very much more of a zone team. No matter what, the pressure call is, they ran a ton of cover two last year, and a lot of cover three. And those are probably going to be your predominant coverages again this year. There'll be match principles where, there's say two guys in a route and a defensive back and a safety reading who takes the undercut and who takes the deep, etc. So there's some kind of area vision stuff, but overall they're not going to play a ton of classic man coverage. It's just not part of this system. Again, there's always going to be some kind of wrinkles, maybe some going against expectation to try and throw off an offensive coordinator and things of that nature, but they will most likely play, again, a ton of different zones and keep their eyes on the quarterback. They always talk, it's a vision-based system, and that's what they mean. Charles, this is a good question. Do we know if they'll stream Family Night again? There has been no official word, but I suspect they will. Once I know for sure, I'll let you guys know. I know it was a pretty big hit last year when they did, because so many people get to watch it from out of state that wouldn't normally get to do it. But nothing official that I've seen. But like I said, as soon as I know, I'll let you guys know. Nick, thanks again, man. I'm also real excited to watch Emmanuel Wilson battle Lynch for running back snaps. That is going to be interesting. And the thing is, obviously, and I know you know this, a big part of that is going to be who's better in pass pro, who's more not just like physically able to do it, but who's assignment sound and knows the protections like the back of his hand and is able to step in there on these kind of big pressure situations. That will go a long way. And then I think, we've heard Matt talk a lot about Lynch getting the ball in the passing game. That's something that Wilson's done pretty well with. And that's where those two areas in particular are what I'm going to be watching for throughout the summer. Jason. All right, man. Thanks again. I'm hoping Colin Oliver is this generation's Kabir. Dwight Freeney was undersized too. Ooh, yeah, man. That would be a dream, right? Dwight Freeney feels like a big stretch, though. Oliver is bounced around between kind of outside backer / defensive end pass rusher type and or linebacker, like stand up off ball backer. I mean, you never know, right? That's why I can't wait to see the kids on with the pads and see how they stack up against NFL talent. That's what it's all about this summer. But man, yeah, big dreams right there. I'm all for it, but a lot of work to do there for the young man. Carl, how are you, man? Thanks for the super chat. Hey, Nags, to me, it would seem a second contract should have guaranteed money more than a rookie contract. Does that make sense? Yes. I mean, I get the idea that you've proven something in the league, right? To me, I think their deals should be guaranteed. Rounds 1 through 7, fully guaranteed when they sign. I mean, they're signing up to play in the NFL, the National Football League, where on average, your stay in the NFL is going to be 3 years, right? And you're putting your body on the line and sacrificing long-term, or putting in jeopardy long-term your health and your well-being for our entertainment. That's where I come down. Like, man, give them fully guaranteed deals. Now, look, I'm under no illusions. I know the owners are going to fight that tooth and nail for as long as they can, and probably always will. I'm not under any illusions that this is going to be a monster change anytime soon, but I like to see it being chipped away. All right, everybody, I'm going to have to get going. I cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor and hit like on the video. Subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV. We are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great weekend. Go Pack Go.